Another day in the van, broken hand. Let's get into. So what we're making today is this little animation right here. And I suck at drawing. I'm a programmer. This is programmer art. I suck at drawing. So what we're gonna do is do a little quick thing like this. It's shitty. I am not skilled at all. And we're gonna animate it using Unity's features. Really easy. You can use this to do a lot of different things. This is just some kind of portal I was just making. Alright, so I got Photoshop open, and what I've done here is simply drew a layer for every kind of item. This isn't hard to do. I literally just used a paintbrush, drew some lines, and like there's no skill involved at all. I'll show you. Go to new, do custom 500 by 500, create. B for the brush tool. You want just a regular brush, hardness 100%. So we'll come down here, we'll hit a new layer. This is going to be the head. Push B for the brush tool, and we just draw the head. There, nothing complicated. You can make it as complicated as you want, or as less complicated as you want. The idea here is to just draw a most basic thing you can, because we're going to throw it into Unity and we're going to animate it to where it's going to look good. It's going to have a little bounce to it. It's going to kind of look cartoony, and you can use this technique in all of your games no matter what you do. So it's very useful knowledge to know. Simple animation. Alright, so there's the head. Come over here, you can rename it if you want. This layer, just double click. Head, new layer. Rename that body. For the arms, we're going to put both arms on one layer. So just label that arms and draw the arms. Do the same thing with the legs. So now what you have is a layer for each item that you have, each body part. So you got legs, you got arms, you got the head, and you got the body in the background. So you want to turn the background off, and you want to go up to File, and you're going to do Export. Now, you hit Layers to Files. Now, I ran into the problem of exporting to a PDF, and Unity can run PDFs. But what happened was, I got this weird white outline on the back of my character, and I'll show you that. That's what this looks like. So instead of trying to do a layer mask or trying to figure that out in Unity, which I'm sure there might be a simple fix to it, but the fix that I know is kind of complicated. So I just come back here, I save mine as a PNG 24, make sure transparency is on. That's really all you need. You're gonna hit run, and what it's gonna do is it's going to extract every layer into a separate folder. And I just extract it right into my Unity project, which is over here, art. And what I got was this. I got my head, body, arms, legs, and the staff thing. Nothing too complex, nothing too complicated. And let's go ahead and make another guy over here. Alright, so I'm going to come up here, I'm going to create an empty object. And I'm just going to name it test player for this tutorial. Enter. Now what I'm going to do is, before you do anything, well, let me show you first. We'll drag the head in here. Drag the body in. Now the arms and the feet are in one file. So what you're going to do is you're going to click on the arms. You're going to go up to sprite mode and select multiple. Hit apply, go to sprite editor, and what you're going to do is you're just going to trim these arms. So hit that trim button right there, automatic, and change the anchor points to the joint. So wherever your arms are going to be rotating, that's where you want your anchor point. Mine are already set like this. See, I messed that up. Like that. Go up, hit apply. Once you're done, you will have two arms ready to be selected. So click and drag each arm like that. Now you can rotate these to get them just to where you want them. Click and drag. Rotate. Same thing, do the same thing with the feet. Once you're ready to go, we're going to do that. And the staff is going to be single, but you're going to go into the sprite editor. I'm going to change the rotation to the center of the staff, which is right there. That way I can rotate the staff as he walks and it's not acting weird. So we're going to exit out of this. Bring this in. Now, I ended up lucky. You might not be so lucky. So what I mean by that is your head is going to be above everything. So we're going to click the head, and in order and layer, we're going to set it to 5. Just for example, the body is right under the head, so the body's going to be 4. You want the arms under the body, so the arms will set to 3. Same thing with the legs, so we'll set all these to 3. And then the staff's going to be below everything, so we're going to set that to 2. Good. Now we have a player. Turn that to 2D. And just make sure that, in my case, my Z values are just messed up, so let me just fix that. All the Z's to 0. There we go. Now what we want to do is we want to select all these body parts and move them as a child into test player. That way our test player is our entire thing that we can put a rigid body on, and etc. So this is what I want to address here. So my head, so right now my head's location is the top left right there. If I try to rotate my head, something weird's going to happen. I don't want that. Now, if I go to my head on my sprite editor, my pivot point is down here. So it's not pivoting where it's supposed to be pivoting. And this is an easy fix. I'm glad it happened. I wanted to show you. So we're going to go click head, and up here, we're going to click the center button to pivot. And now, when I try to pivot my head, it will pivot on its actual pivot point. Just a good thing to know, because I had a long time. It took me a while to figure that out, and just something to help you guys. Alright, so now we're going to animate this guy. So we're going to click the test player, go up to window, animation, animation. And then hit create. So you can name this anything you want. We're just going to name it tutorial guy. Save it. And now the easiest way to animate is to hit this record button, go over to your test player, and if you see the test player's location is way over here, we don't want that. So now we're going to select all these things, And with the local selected, we're just going to set positions to 0. 0, 0, which kind of messed things up a little bit. So let's just fix that. So that centers all our objects around the actual test player game object. Alright, now we should be good to go. We're going to select test player, and he's centered there. So we'll be able to move him around, and all our stuff will come with it. That's perfect. That's what we wanted. So you try to rotate him. Yep, that's great. So now we're ready. So we're going to hit test player, and we're going to hit this record button. And now we want to do an idle stage, and that's pretty simple. We're just going to move a couple things. So we got our keyframe here. This is the beginning. So what we're going to do is we're just going to take the body, move the body down a little bit, and if you notice, nothing else came with it, and we don't want that. We want to be able to move the body and move the arms and the head as well. So if you push, so let's go back real quick, and we'll take the head and the arms, and we'll put that under the body, like that. So now when we move the body, everything else will go with it, like that. So first we're going to just delete this position because I don't know how it got in there. And second of all, make sure our test player is selected. And what we're going to do first is we're going to move the body. So at the 10th keyframe, we're going to hit the record button. Go to the body. And we're going to move it down just a little bit. And when we hit play, it's probably going to snap. It didn't do anything. Okay. So for 20, we're going to copy this value, go over to the 20th keyframe, and paste it. And now, so what's happening is over here we had a keyframe which I did not see. So we're just going to zoom out. And we're going to delete this. And now, when we play this animation, it snaps. It looks like it's going too fast to really see what's going on. So I'll show you an example. We're going to go to 5. And we're going to move the head up a little bit. And we're going to go to 15 key state and move that head down a little bit. We're going to hit play, and this gives us a basic animation. Now what you want to always be careful of is as you get further along, you're going to start to notice that things kind of clip or they snap. If any animation is drastic like that, it has that drastic changes between their key states, that's what it's going to look like. Now, let's go over here, pause it, copy these beginning keyframes, make sure that they're the same. We're going to go over to the 20th keyframe, paste them, and now when we play the same animation, all we changed was the ending. It doesn't snap, it's more fluid, it flows better. And that's a drastic example anyway. You don't want your head to bob that much. So let's change that. We're going to go over to the 15. We're going to move this head up a little bit. Check it out. Still a lot. Make sure you're on the 15. We're going to move that up. And just play with it till it looks right. It takes a little trial and error. To squash the head, squashing things gives things a little more cartoony-ish look. It gives it more life, kind of. You don't have to overdo it. So what we're going to do is we're going to go to 5 keyframe, and we're going to go to the scale up here, scale tool, and we're going to squash the head a little bit. So bring that down, bring this out. We're going to go to the 15. And then we're going to stretch it. Hit play. And now we have this little kind of squash effect. Let's edit the body a little more, just because I'm not liking the body. It's not very, it doesn't really do much. So we'll bring the body down just a little bit more. Whoops, that's still in scale mode. Let's bring the body down a little more and hit play. There we go. Now we have a bouncy kind of character. And the more things you edit, the more life you can breathe into the character. So we can edit the arms, the weapon. Let's just do the weapon just for an example. So around 5, I'm going to rotate this weapon a little bit. There. And then around 15, I'm going to rotate the weapon back a little bit. Whoops. And now when we play this animation, the whole weapon, see, the more you animate, the more it kind of breathes life into the character. But don't overdo it, because too much animation can make things look weird, not give it as much energy, and so on. Now to slow this animation down a little bit, we're going to zoom out, Control A, select all these key states, and just simply drag them to the right to 30, from 20 to 30, and it slows it down. I like that. That's a good idle state in my opinion. If you want it slower, you can drag it out to whatever you need it. Now when you drag it out, once it hits this 1 mark, that's 60 frames. So whatever is happening from 0 to 60 or 1, it's 1 second. If you're running at 60 frames per second, then within 1 second of your game, all these 60 frames will have ran. Okay, so you see how it's kind of snapping? So what we're going to do is we're going to copy again the beginning, make it match the ending. And now when we play, it's a more fluid motion. But yeah, that's how you animate. In the next series, we're going to talk about how to make run animations, walk animations like this, attack animations, how to trigger them, and some simple transitions. Thank you for watching. I'm just getting started with these tutorials, and I'm not the best at them, but I'm still practicing, I'm still learning. I hope you enjoyed it, and
Hey, thanks for checking out my tutorial. If you're looking for more in-depth information, I have courses you won't find on YouTube. You'll learn what professional games like these use for physics to create amazing effects, stuff like gravity guns, hovering items, advanced 2D particle effects, screen warping, teleportation effects, warp speed blurs, and so much more. Go to 2dinunity.com, enter your email. I'll send you an in-depth tutorial that covers more than just the basics of an RPG. This includes multiplayer networking, lobby systems, chat input, essentially everything to go from an average-looking indie game to a professional game industry standard. If not, you can still keep watching my free material on YouTube. Thanks for all your support, and I'll see you in the next video.